It's Marc, and this is Alter Ego Comics TV for the week of June 16th, 2021. Happy New Comic Book Day. Another outstanding week for new releases. We've got some great new number ones that I think you should check out when you head out to your local comic shop. And we'll start with my pick of the week, which is Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, issue number 1, written by Tom Taylor, artwork by Bill Evely, I think. Remember when credits used to be on that first page? There we go. Yep, Bill Evely. This is cover B, by the way, which we got sent instead of cover A. But hey, it still works. It's by Gary Frank. It's awesome. Tom King, has been kind of revitalizing, rejuvenating some of DC's B and C list, let's just say C list characters, such as Adam Strange, Mr. Miracle, and now we have Supergirl. And this is, in my opinion, kind of like Red Sonja / The Witcher starring Supergirl. I've also seen another person that I respect in the industry refer to it as True Grit with Supergirl. So Supergirl turns 21. She wants to go off and have a few pops, a few ginger ales, a few adult beverages, someplace where she can actually get drunk. So she goes to a planet with a red sun. And while she's there, she's approached by a young girl whose father has been murdered, and kind of basically hires her in a way. Doesn't really hire her, but gets her to help. And that's the gist of this first issue. This is a miniseries. I believe it's another 12-issue miniseries, and I'm really curious to see what Tom King does with Supergirl here. Kind of an underused character in the DC universe, but if for the first issue is any indication, it's going to be a wild ride. I really enjoyed it. I think you will too. Next up is Static, Season 1, issue number 1, written by Vita Ayala, art by Chris Cross, and we got kind of a sneak peek or the setup to this in the Milestone one-shot that came out about 3 weeks ago. And this continues that story, but you don't have to have read the Milestone one-shot to jump into this with both feet and understand what's going on. Full transparency, I was never a fan of Static growing up. It was my college days, and I wasn't reading a lot of comics at that time. I was kind of stuck in mainstream Marvel and DC, what I was reading. And so I never watched the Static Shock TV series, the cartoon, so I know next to nothing about Static. And I really dug this issue. In fact, my wife, who has never heard of the character of Static before, made it her pick of the week. That's how much she liked it. So you can jump into this with no prior knowledge of the character. Again, I think it's a very timely series. It fits kind of the mold of a Spider-Man or a teenage hero developing powers and having to live within the constraints of family and school, and in Static's case, Black Lives Matter and everything that's going on in the world. So very timely, very good. I give it a thumbs up, recommend it. And again, this is Angie's pick of the week here at Alter Ego. If you're not reading Nightwing, you're missing what I think is one of the best series being published across the board. Definitely one of the best, if not the best, that DC is publishing right now. Issue number 81 is out this week and has a startling revelation at the end. The team of Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo on here is just outstanding. So I guess this is the fourth issue with this creative team, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it, as they say at Mickey D's. So if you're not reading Nightwing, try and pick up the previous issues and jump into this, or definitely pick up the first trade when it becomes available. One of my favorite comics being published right now. And Marvel fans, Venom fans, Spider-Man fans will be happy and sad with Venom number 35, aka Venom 200. So this is a square-bound, oversized issue celebrating the final issue by the creative team of Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman, wrapping up some of their storylines, kicking off some new stuff that new writer Al Ewing will be inheriting. And they've definitely taken the character of Eddie Brock from one place 4 years ago to a completely different place, and introducing the character of Dylan, and that character has gone through a lot as well. I must say I've never been a huge fan of Venom. I'm more of a fan of Venom as a villain fighting Spider-Man, or the symbiote when it was battling for the soul of Peter Parker. But I do kind of appreciate the anti-hero nature of Venom, and I think the character has come a long way under the guidance of Donny Cates. So this is it. Venom number 200. Lots of covers to choose from on this. This is the Mark Bagley cover, but there are a ton, and the Patrick Gleason cover is super cool as well. As far as graphic novels, speaking of Donny Cates, we get the second volume of his Thor run, which is outstanding. Art duties on this volume include Aaron Cooter and Nick Klein. And again, one of my favorite books that Marvel is publishing right now, on my personal pull list. So if that means anything, basically it means that I don't want to miss an issue. So pick up the second volume of Donny Cates' Thor. And back to Tom Taylor. We've got Deceased or Hope at World's End. This is the hardcover collection of the digital-only Deceased series. So this was a 15-part digital-only series, which has now been collected in hardcover and takes place within the world of Deceased. So I have not had a chance to read this yet, but based on my experience with Tom Taylor's other Deceased comics, this is a can't miss. And that's it for this week. Lots of continuing stuff, which is really, really good. I do want to put a plug in. I don't have it here with me, but Destiny New York continues to be one of my favorite new series. Issue number 4 came out this week, and it's written by Pat Shand. This is the wraps up the first story arc, and big thumbs up to Destiny New York. I'm really enjoying it. And that's it. So let me know what you're enjoying in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see in this weekly show. I did see someone suggest that I need a co-host. I don't know if that's a slam or a compliment or just an innocent suggestion to bring Josh back, who no longer works here, by the way, and doesn't read as many comics as he used to, but maybe we'll get Josh to do a guest appearance. And trying to organize 2 different schedules for this time. I try and do this before we open to the public so that I can launch it up on the YouTubes. So, it's tough getting people's schedules together. But I love doing it, and I'll keep doing it as long as people are watching. So, thanks for the suggestion. Hopefully it wasn't too much of a slam at me going solo. So head out to your local comic shop this week. Pick up some of the stuff that I talked about today. That's all stuff that I highly recommend. And I hope you have a fantastic week. Give this episode a thumbs up. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe. And as I said, leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I know we had some people a couple weeks ago let me know that they're watching in different parts of the world. And I'm always curious where you're watching from. Have a great week. See you again real soon.